And you know, I've been forgetting, I've been forgetting Leo, our newsman, who does an incredible job, no question about it. All right, real quick, in the news, Trump says Fox was mean to him. Mean. I thought they were too, actually. A French search plane is lifting off, looking for more debris near Reunion. Nothing officially spotted as of yet. And then this item. Hi, Art. Email. First, welcome back to the airwaves, podcast, Great Night Radio, and all that. Great to hear you again. This photo I took in the winter of 2007. I took it right after it snowed here in Everett, Washington, around midnight or so. My back deck looking northwest toward Port Garden Bay, big part of Puget Sound. There is a neighbor's house in the background, and there appears to be a ghost image, a pretty awful one, I might add, near the back edge of the deck, and it seems to be looking at me now. I didn't see it at the time of the photo, or the photo would not exist. I would have been heading indoors at the pace, locking the doors behind me. Hope you find it of interest. Boy, I sure do. Ron, thank you very much. It's on artbell.com. Go and take a look. This thing is creepy. By any measure, one of the better either ghost photographs or creature photographs I've ever seen in my life. So, artbell.com. All right, so in a moment, Travis Walton. I looked him up on Wiki. I've interviewed Travis probably 6 or 10 years ago or something. Travis, Wiki says, is an American logger who was allegedly, and I scratched that word out, who was abducted by a UFO on November 5th, 1975, after working with a logging crew in the Apache National Forest in Arizona. Walton could not be found, but in fact reappeared after a 5-day intensive search. The case received mainstream publicity, remains one of the best-known instances of alien abduction. Again, I went right past alleged. UFO historian Jerome Clark writes that few abduction reports have generated as much controversy as the Walton case. It was made, into a movie, a very, very popular movie called Fire in the Sky. And prior to doing tonight's interview, I again watched Fire in the Sky with my wife, who was utterly freaked out, completely freaked out. And so I imagine she is sitting intently listening to this interview. So what's going to happen is, coming up in a moment, the real McCoy. That's what he is, the real McCoy, Travis Walton. Stay right where you are. These interviews are few and far between. This is Midnight in the Desert, and I'm Art Bell, as usual, raging in the nighttime.
will stand up at the terror in each sip and in each sup. Will you partake of that last offered cup, or disappear into the potter's ground?
Feel free to sniff our packets. Then, with a smile on your face, please call the show at 1-952-225-5278. That's 1-952. Call honestly.
Good evening, everybody. Here he is from Snowflake, Arizona. Actually, the place he always was, really, Travis Walton, Travis High.
Good evening.
Good evening. It has been, I don't know, 6 years, 10 years, like forever since we had an opportunity to talk. So
Yes.
it's really an honor to have you back, and I was serious about scratching out that alleged stuff. What happened to you happened. Period.
Absolutely. We're at the tipping point. Back in the day, they used to say anybody who believes in such things is a kook. Now we're actually coming to the point where the debunkers and the skeptics are the kooks. Because the definition of a kook is someone who believes things that are at odds with known facts and accepted beliefs. And that's them, not us.
That's right. That is them, and there's so much to prove it now. And I really hate taking you back to this story again, but that's what I have to do because it crucified me otherwise. You're still married, right? To Mike Rogers' sister?
Yeah, but we've been separated a number of years, amicably, but definitely living apart.
Okay.
November 5th, 1975. You know, in some ways, it's like yesterday. You know, it seems, the emotional impact in particular. But the memories are so fresh. It's hard to believe it's been nearly 40 years.
Travis, has this thing defined your life ever since? I mean, I can't imagine that it hasn't. It's going to define your life.
Yeah, it has. Actually, I have to say regrettably that, it's something I live with every day. But the negative aspect of it has shifted. And, that might be surprising. I stuck it out here in Snowflake, and it used to be, people would look and whisper and point. But now, the local people come up, shake my hand, and or greet me openly, and then say, I always supported you. And I'm thinking, we should have spoke up longer.
Back then.
But it is good, that almost every time I go out now, I get some kind of positive response. And I'll tell you what, we've come a long ways in this town.
Oh, yes. How big a town now is Snowflake?
Well, it was about 3,500 then, but I don't know, not a whole lot bigger, might be 5,000.
Okay. All right.
We have added a stoplight. We've added a McDonald's.
Oh, you have a stoplight and a McDonald's.
Yeah. Wow.
We celebrated here in Grunt about us. We got our first stoplight and our first McDonald's, so I know how we feel. All right. So your crew consisted of Mike Rogers. Let's see.
Peterson.
Jim Peterson, right? Is it Ken Peterson or?
Ken Peterson.
Okay.
Kenneth Peterson.
Right. John Gillette.
John Gillette. Dwayne Smith. We always get confused with my brother Dwayne. It's a different spelling of Dwayne. And then there was Steve Pierce and Alan Dallas.
Okay. I'm going to go to the movie for this, and I know the movie probably got an awful lot of stuff wrong, but there's something I want to ask about, and that is, you know what? I shouldn't ask about that yet. Tell the story as I suppose Mike might have told it that night. The movie, is it close enough for comfort, or is it far away from what actually occurred?
Well, anytime Hollywood tells a real-life story, they've got to simplify and abbreviate and sort of symbolize things, because you're telling in 90 minutes something that spans years. So some of that is to be expected and it's acceptable. I have two brothers, Don and Dwayne, who became one named Dan. James Garner was several investigators and enrolled into one. And they actually reduced the number of the crew from 7 to 6. And, some of that's acceptable and, understandable. But the greatest amount of change were what happened aboard the craft. And I see no reason for that except commercial conditions.
All right, well, we'll get to that. But all of this crew, you were up there cutting and clearing for, I guess, the U.S. Forest Service?
Yeah, it was a government contract to clear out undergrowth, damaged trees, and diseased trees, and generally clean up the forest, and also a lot of fuel reduction, which is fire reduction strips through the area that makes it easier to fight forest fires that might spring up.
It's hard work, huh?
Oh, it's definitely some of the hardest work you can do at high altitude on the steep terrain, and carrying a heavy chainsaw all day. It's definitely not for the faint of heart.
It's for the young. And by the way, you are quite a bit older than you were then. How old were you at the time? You were 22?
I was 22, and now I'm 62.
Oh my God. I'm 70, Travis, so there you go. Wow, you're over 60 now. Holy mackerel. I'm 70, Travis, so there you go. Wow, you're over 60 now. Holy mackerel.
I can still outrun my boys.
I don't feel it either, at all. But it happens, and those years go by. So you guys were, it started out with everybody in the truck going up there and working. And I guess that you were on your way home. It was dark. And if the movie is accurate, somebody saw something in the distance that, and I guess you were part of this, they claimed looked at first like fire.
Yeah, there was a glow, and we tried out a number of ideas of what it might be. Deer hunters camped out there, a plane crash, a fire, but nothing was fitting in with what we were seeing.
Right. It was a full glow in the sky, kind of like in the movie, maybe not as reddish, but full glow. And the sun had gone down, of course, in the west. So it could not have been the sun. It had to be a fire or, as you mentioned, a crash or something like that. Anyway, it was apparently pretty much directly ahead of where you were headed on that only road you were on to get out of there, right?
Right. And the closer we got, I could see that there was a break in the trees ahead where the light was shining across the road. So, Mike, hurry up, get up there and see what it is. Because by then, all of us had noticed it. And so we bounced along and went on up there. I mean, it was curious, but it wasn't all that alarming at first. But first into the clearing, man, it was bam. It hit us right between the eyes. It was unmistakable. Alan yelled out, "It's a flying saucer!"
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. But it obviously looked like one, certainly depicted in the movies. Did the movies have it about right the way it looked?
No, not at all.
Okay.
But, it was definitely not some little glowing point of light off in the distance like the skeptics try to say it could have been the planet Jupiter. And, this was less than 90 feet away, unmistakable metallic disc hovering there. I threw open the door thinking it would just take off before I got 10 steps outside the truck. But the closer I got, the scarier everybody got.
Yeah, they all stayed in the truck, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, they were screaming bloody murder at you to get the hell back.
Yeah, they were describing me in some rather uncomplimentary language to get back in the truck so we could get the heck away from them.
Okay.
I was scared too, but I was trying not to show it. So, the closer I got, the slower I went. sort of a sound, and then a throbbing, real below bass sort of sound. It's really complex stuff. I got to talk to an engineering school, and they were very interested in the types of sound that I was hearing, because it would give clues about what might be driving this thing. But the closer I got, the scareder I got, and so when I got right up to it, I mean, I was awestruck too. You know, later on.
Well, let me stop you and ask you, first of all, it's not your average person, Travis, that would get out of the truck and try to run under something like this. The average person would do what the guys in the truck did after, something happened to you. They would take off like a bat out of hell. I mean, that's scary. So, can you remember in your mind what caused you to get out of the truck and try to get under this thing?
Well, that's what I was starting to say, is that Alan and Steve thought for them it looked like I was under outside control and I was in some kind of trance. But, I think we were all entranced, so to speak, that it was just an incredible, awesome sight. And all the crewmen agree with that. And it was just, wow. And plus the sound, and plus there was something in the air, just this feeling, like that it seemed like something was about to happen. And I think that we were sensing this electrical charge that was building.
Oh yes, humans can feel that.
Yeah, and what was making the hair rise on the back of your neck? It wasn't just fear. It was something kind of like a huge static charge or something.
That's probably exactly what it was. You can get that same feeling. I've been under 500,000 volt lines, and you can actually get little shocks from touching the wet grass beneath it. And you can feel that in your whole body, kind of like that.
Yeah. And what's the vibration? It was subsonic and ultrasonic. They said they could feel it in the vibrating the metal of the truck, But, because, Mike had turned the engine off. Because when everybody started explaining, he had to lean over to see what everybody was looking at. But when I got up to where I was looking up at about a 45-degree angle, it was just so astonishing that it was smooth as glass over the entire surface, but parts of it were glowing, parts of it were metallic, and it was giving off this glow at the same time you could see the surroundings reflected in the surface. It's kind of like when you look at a television set and you can see from the way
So it was reflective, not like a mirror, but somewhat reflective.
Yeah. And as I was looking up at it, those guys were, pretty much in a panic, screaming at me to get back in the truck. And I decided to turn around and run, but it suddenly got louder and started to move. And so I just instinctively just jumped for cover. And there was a log in the middle of the clearing, part of this brush pile that was there. And so I jumped down behind it, and then, immediately, decided to run back to the truck. But when I stood up, my head and chest at that point became the closest point to that vehicle or craft that it had been in that entire time. And that's when I just felt a shock. It felt like I'd been physically hit by a truck, but it also felt like an electrical shock. So it was numbing, sort of a paralyzing feeling. But that was something I did just as I blacked out.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Travis. Are you on a portable phone?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I am on a cordless hardwired line.
Cordless hardwired. Okay, good. I'm getting an occasional little breakup, but nothing big. Fine. So you decided at the last minute, to heck with this, I'm going to run.
Yeah. And
again, different than the movie, right? It didn't show that in the movie. it showed in the movie was he got thrown by this thing. So that was wrong.
That is what happened. That is what happened.
Oh, it is what happened.
I decided to run, but I didn't. Just standing up and zap. And there was, you know, the way it's depicted in the movie, the guy, the actor, jerked, and then was thrown back.
Right.
Kind of dragged around. It was just a, you know, it's strange because Hollywood normally, you know, wants to put on a light show, and they really missed an opportunity there because it was far more violent than they depicted. It was so violent that it was compared, you know, by the crew that was watching to a grenade or a landmine thrown into the air.
Wow.
Some guy said, you know, it threw me 10 feet. Some thought it was 20 feet. But John said that my body fell like a sack of meat, like there were no bones in it. They said that no attempt to break my fall or anything, to the point where, I mean, the violence was so powerful that they immediately started screaming, "It killed me."
Yeah, they were convinced you were dead, and frankly, even from watching the movie, I can understand that. They thought this thing had killed you, and of course, at that point, if the movie is accurate, they said, heck with this, we're getting out of here, and went tearing down some of the rest of that road as fast as they could go. That
you know,
accurate?
they're directing the truck, and, you know, I do not blame them. I always want to say that those did the right thing at that point. What was the point of risking everyone's life to save somebody they thought was already dead? So anybody that thinks that was cowardly is just wrong. Mike, you know, had the safety of the crew, you know, under his responsibility. When they got up the road, they said that they argued about whether it actually disintegrated or incinerated me. When they were unable to find some deer hunters, you know, with guns to come back, they decided they would come back. Now in the movie, when Mike said, this truck's going back, anybody who doesn't want to can get out and wait here, nobody volunteered to stand alone in the dark like in the movie. They all said, no way, we're staying with the truck. So they all went back.
Okay, so, oh man, that's really a deviation. So every one of them went back. They didn't stand in the dark, as depicted in the movie. They all went back.
Yeah.
Bless their hearts.
I give them credit for that. That took courage.
Yeah, it sure
You
did.
know, like I was telling Steve today, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is to keep going in the presence of fear.
All right, so when they got back there,
Kenny was saying that the scariest thing to him, because they saw the craft leaving, the scariest thing to him, he thought would be what my charred body was going to look like.
you said they saw it leave?
Yeah, as they approached the area, they saw it shoot off.
Wow. And obviously they were immediately looking for you, and you were not there anymore. Now, was there any trace left on the ground of either you or presence of that craft above?
Well, in long-term ongoing research, there was evidence of the craft having been there. And when the sheriff brought in the tracking dogs from the state prison, they were unable to find the trail going anywhere beyond where my body fell in the middle of that clearing.
Mm-hmm. And you know, before we get further with this story, because people are going to be going, oh, come on, when you get into the details, your entire crew was given a lie detector test. And if I have it right, in the first one, Dallas may have been a little unreadable because he was so freaked out, but everybody else passed the lie detector test. And then moreover, they were later given a second lie detector test, and everybody passed.
Yeah, the second round, Alan Dallas first, because obviously he had walked out on his initial test. But this was with the same examiner, and Mike was retested. I took 2 more tests from the state police
Wow.
lie detector expert, which, at the time that the 6 tests had been passed, the president of the American Polygraph Association said that although polygraph on a single test is less than 100%, when you have that many people passing tests on the same issue, the odds are over 1,000,000 to 1 of there being any error.
Okay, Travis, hold on. You can relax for about 7. This is Midnight in the Desert, and I'm Art Bell. For Dark Matter News, I'm Leo Ashcraft. NASA's one-ton Curiosity rover landed on Mars 3 years ago this week. As the car-sized rover touched down on the Martian surface, it ushered in a new era of planetary exploration on Mars. But it was also the start of something else. Curiosity's sardonic Twitter alter ego, known as the Sarcastic Rover. The Sarcastic Rover parody Twitter account came into being on August 6, 2012. The night of the famous 7 Minutes of Terror landing that brought Curiosity to the Martian surface. Sarcastic Rover's brand of science-minded wit was apparent from the moment it arrived on Twitter. Sarcastic Rover acts like any of us would after being sent to Mars. It's kind of upset, a little lonely, and it wants to make fun of everything. The parody account resonated with people immediately. The account attracted some 7,000 followers during its first night online, according to Jason Phillips, the screenwriter and the mind behind the Sarcastic Robot. Sarcastic Rover now has about 134,000 followers, 3 years into Curiosity's mission. One of our listeners, Ron, ran across the photo from the winter of 2007, and he says he took right after it snowed there in Everett, Washington. He says it was around midnight or so, and the photo was taken on his back deck, looking northwest towards Port Gardner Bay, part of the Puget Sound. You can just see the neighbor's house in the background. There appears to be a ghost image near the edge of the deck, and it seems to be looking at Ron. He says he didn't see it at the time the photo was snapped. Instead, Ron says he would be heading indoors at a quick pace and locking the door behind him. Take a look at the backyard ghost sent in from one of our listeners, Ron, at darkmatternews.com or artbell.com.
After last night's show on Bigfoot, we've had earthquakes, meteors, asteroids, UFOs, volcanic activity, and something has shaken loose. Earlier today, young Eric Waters had an experience that will change his life forever. Today, a boom man trying to enjoy a little bit of time in the North Carolina mountains had a run-in with Sasquatch. His little doggy was able to chase it away. Due to some licensing issues on YouTube, we were not able to get the audio or the video for this. I am going to attempt to reenact today's video. No, Yippee! No, Yippee! No! Oh, okay. Oh, that's it. That's about it. And while he was breathing heavy and saying, no, Zippy, off to the right seemed to be a humanoid beast, a little shorter than normal. Might have been maybe a teenage, younger Sasquatch or Sasquatch or segment.
Well, the thing that refutes that was when I told my brother, said something immediately upon being recovered. Something he said about my mom worrying these days. He could tell that I thought it was still the same night. And he said, Travis, you've been gone 5 days. Feel your face. And I had a 5-day growth of beard. And that is what overturns the time dilation idea.
All right, Travis, hold it right there. We've got a quick break. Travis Walton is my guest. I'm Art Bell. This is Midnight in the Desert. Stay right where you are.
from the high deserts and the great American Southwest. This is Midnight in the Desert, exclusively on the Dark Matter Digital Network. To call the show, dial 1-952. Call Art, that's 1-952-225-5278.
A rare interview with Travis Walton, abductee, real abductee. This is not listening to anybody else's story. It's just there's so much cooperation for this that I feel very comfortable in saying real abductee. Travis, I get questioned, and by the way, people are asking, what was the movie? My goodness, it is a long time ago. It's called Fire in the Sky, and you can still see it, and we've got updated stuff for you coming up. We'll tell you all about it in a moment.
I saw it on television night before last. It's still showing out there.
It sure is.
And it was on Netflix last I heard.
There you go. Joe wants to know what the device, the medical device you thought it was, what did that look like, the one on you?
Well, it was glowing, kind of a greenish glow coming from underneath it. So I don't know whether it was some kind of a treatment device designed to repair the damage that was done internally, or if it was something designed to diagnose or look inside. But I definitely think my regaining consciousness was unexpected and actually kind of put a kink in their efforts to revive me.
All right.
You know, for many years I thought that I was taken aboard for experiments or to torture me, but it was actually probably more about reviving me.
Richard asked, did Travis get the feeling that the aliens didn't care whether you lived or died? In other words, did you feel they were caring for you, about you, or just sort of...
Richard's question is related to what I was just saying, that at the time, the complete lack of emotion, I interpreted it as hostility. But in total perspective, analyzing what happened, the way it fits in with the medical tests afterwards, and how I was returned and everything, it took me years to realize that it was probably more of an ambulance call than an abduction, that I got myself hurt, and that made it necessary to take me aboard just to avoid leaving me there as galactic roadkill.
You said you didn't feel as though you were more than about an hour in total had passed on board the craft, yes?
Yeah, a very brief period of time. Of course, in a state of complete hysteria, it seems like forever. But, when you piece together what happened over the waiting periods, it was less than I thought. It certainly doesn't account for the entire time. But there were little glimmers of memory, and the hypnosis reinforces this, that there were blocked memories that happened that I'm unable to recollect even after all this time, that other than what came out under that first hypnosis session.
What did come out under the hypnosis session? What did you find out?
Up to that point, I was so traumatized that I could hardly finish a sentence about it. And I had not really told the entire story of what I had experienced to anyone, including my brother, until that hypnosis. And it was because it was just so traumatic, I broke down and I could hardly finish a sentence. And so the technique was to separate the fear from the experience.
Okay.
Although there was a great deal of fear in what I was remaining, but it was still enough to where I could tell them what happened.
All right, so how did you get from the craft? I mean, we last left you going down a hall or a passageway or something, and then what?
Well, my unskilled, I would say, button pushing, trying to open the door, must have attracted some attention. I don't know, maybe coincidentally, this person came in that I took to be a human being from some Earth-based space agency or military arm from the Earth, and but I really think now that wasn't the case. He took me out of this craft And at this point, it was parked. It was inside of this big hangar-like structure. It could have been a building somewhere, a military base or somewhere, or it could have been a part of a larger craft. It had a sort of a look to the roof and wall. It looked sort of like I'd seen in airplane hangars, but the light coming from the panels could have been filtered sunlight to a translucent panel, or it might have been an artificial natural light sort of light fixture. I have no idea where it was. I couldn't see out to these windows there, or if they were windows.
At any point, did any of these creatures communicate with you in any way, either vocally or telepathically?
I think that excruciating encounter initially with the three of them was an attempt to say something telepathically. And I was curious about why it was so excruciating until I connected to possibly that I was injured and the receiver, so to speak, wasn't operating correctly. I was interviewed the same day for this new movie coming up called 701, which refers to the 701 unresolved Bluebook cases. This movie is in the works yet, but I was interviewed the same day as the school kids from Zimbabwe. And I asked the young lady what that felt like when these, I don't know if you heard about this, but if everyone heard about this thing where there's like 60 kids at recess in broad daylight, this craft came down, these aliens, like I described, came out and communicates to them through this stare. And I wanted to know if it was excruciating, like for them, like it was for me. And they said no, it was very pleasant. The message wasn't unpleasant, it was friendly. And so that convinces me all the more that it was just an attempt with extreme aggressiveness, force of the combined force of the three of them trying to get control of me before I hurt them or actually hurt myself, because I think my unscheduled regaining of consciousness interrupted some life-saving repairs. And so that's the reason for a human-looking person to come in and take me out.
Fully human?
Apparently, in most ways, there was something odd about the eyes, but again, I go back to the biology. See, Steph really fond of saying that this is ridiculous. There are no aliens because everybody reports bipedal, 2 hands, 2 legs, a head on top. Oh, they're not going to look anything like that. They're going to be a tentacle octopus. Well, that's ridiculous. If you understand the principles of biology, bilateral symmetry is almost, throughout all life on Earth, no matter how diverse. And you have many cases where animals that resemble each other very, very much are completely unrelated just because they are in a similar ecological niche, in certain similar environments.
Sure. These creatures, were they wearing helmets, or were they breathing if they were breathing?
Human-looking ones, with so-called grays, were not wearing anything with coveralls, but the human-looking one was wearing a helmet over his head. And so that was the reason I sort of accepted the fact that he was not responding to my babbling, my screaming, begging questions,
All right, I'm going back to my computer for a second here with a question. Yes, I've got it. Heather would like to know, she may have information. Is it true Travis was found to have radiation signatures in his blood? It can only be found if a person is exposed to radiation, like in space, outside of Earth's atmosphere.
That is an untrue rumor. Unfortunately, that specific test was not performed. That kind of evidence might have been done such tests. However, the trees nearest where the craft came down do have definite markers of having huge radiation dose.
Wow.
And we can get into that in detail, but this accelerated growth that was generated in these trees has been duplicated in the pines. It's a Scots pine tree species near the Chernobyl nuclear accident. It's very similar to ponderosa pine, where this forest was. And the radiation at Chernobyl caused an accelerated growth there, just like it did at the clearing. Now, the trees nearest where the craft came down had the greatest accelerated growth, and then the effect faded back into the woods. And most interestingly, the most recent discovery was that the accelerated growth was primarily on the side of the tree in the direction of the craft. So in a circle of trees around where the craft came down, the thickened growth would be on the east, west, south, or north on whatever side was facing the craft, which completely undercuts any skeptic's idea that there was some growth effect that had nothing to do with the craft.
This is all new information to me.
It's new research, yes.
When was this outed?
This was discovered in an expedition overseen by Ben Hansen. He was the host of the TV series Fact or Fake, FBI agent. He oversaw the expedition back there, and we were able to check this accelerated growth, which we were aware of from going way back, but we didn't know it was directional until this last year, when we were able to get a complete cross-section of the trees. And this high radiation was detected with Geiger counters on the men's hard hats during the search. And also, when I exited the truck, I left the door open. And the crewman that was in the open doorway was Ken Peterson. And his right arm was armed towards the open door. Has recently been diagnosed with skin cancer, which again is
Maybe radiation.
high radiation. No, the blood test didn't reveal that, but unfortunately those blood tests weren't run at the time.
Yes, indeed. Since the experience, have you noticed any changes in yourself? Psychic abilities, better understanding of yourself or anybody else or life itself? In other words, did it profoundly change you in some way?
All of the above. That's right. I have tried very hard to stick to things that I can document.
Right.
And some things became documentable later, so I was able to copyright.
Like the radiation. But you're trying to avoid the woo-woo factor.
Right.
I get
But
that.
there's definitely some strange things that become apparent.
All right, let me get, again, so you were in this hangar-like place.
Yeah.
I want to know how you got back to, I don't know, Earth or...
He took me to some other people who dressed similarly to him, except they didn't have helmets. And so I thought, well, maybe they could hear me. Maybe they'll answer my questions. So, I was a bad idiot. I was screaming, crying, carrying on. I was basically out of my mind and fear. But they weren't responding to me. And in a way, it might not have been so much secrecy or, anything covert or suspicious that they wouldn't respond to me. It was just that I was acting like a maniac, and they felt that Todd and reason that somebody so out of control would be futile. So they forced me down on this table and rendered me unconscious with some sort of a gas. And next thing I know, was back on Earth. But
Where were you? When you woke up back on Earth, where were you? It showed you in the movie at a gas station or something.
well, I woke up and I was lying face down in the dark on a cold pavement. But there was a light. I looked to see where the light was coming from. But it went off. But when I looked up, I could still see the shiny bottom of this craft hovering there, just for an instant before it shot straight up into the air. But I think probably quite a bit of time went on between the time I was put unconscious and the time I was lying there on the pavement. I could feel that my clothes were still warm, even though the pavement was very cold, the air was very cold.
The movie showed you naked as Jaybird. Not true.
Not true. Not true. You know, it was dreadful. I mean, they actually filmed a sequence where the actor portraying me came upon a couple getting busy in the car. They're naked, and he's naked, and they start screaming, he starts screaming. He said it was so bad that it was mercifully deleted from the film. But I guess the nakedness is a good metaphor for the feeling that I had in a variety of ways, that these beings, the small ones, that looked into me like they knew what I was thinking, seeing into me. It was an intrusive and invasive kind of feeling. And then in the aftermath, the way the media microscopically analyzed my every move to an absurd extent, every childish active bravado or whatever, motorcycle stunts or whatever was just blown out of proportion. And, they were just looking for anything that they could interpret as strange. So, the whole idea of being the bug in the jar began on board the craft and continued for months after I was returned.
All right, hold it right there. We're gonna break. Oh, Travis Walton is my guest. He's an abductee. Been there, done that, and back. I'm Mark Bell. Here's one for you. You talked to us about the aliens and then what seemed to be more human-like characters. So an obvious question would seem to be, do you think that means that we know all about the aliens, that we are in some way cooperating with them? You got taken because they perhaps thought you were hurt. They didn't want you. They didn't want you to wake up. And when you did, they wanted you the hell out of there. may have been government types. Is that possible?
Well, that's possible, and that's what I initially thought. But now, going further into the skeptics' idea that no way would they even be vaguely humanoid, let alone human looking, is preposterous when you look at the biology behind it. It's entirely possible that they're not us from the future, us from the past, or related to us, or that we were seen here by them. It's entirely possible that they just have a particular keener interest in us because of our similarity, which is, I predict that when we look at life on other worlds, they're not going to be astonished at how bizarre these life forms are. They're going to be amazed at the similarity of forms. They uncovered a fossil of a marsupial that is built just like a saber-toothed cat. It's a predator, and yet biologically completely unrelated, but very, very similar because of the niche that it serves in ecology. We have javelina in the southwest that look like pigs, have tusks and behaviors in so many ways like pigs, and they're not pigs at all. The American pronghorn is not even a true antelope, and it resembles so much a particular African antelope species because our American pronghorn evolved here on the American continent in the presence of the American cheetah, which is now extinct. And because of the similarity in the environment, it takes on a similar form and a similar ability. Every animal that winds up living in the water, whether it be a mammal or a bird or a reptile or an amphibian, they all come to look very fish-like because the environment shapes the animal.
Okay, but clearly you were looking at two different species. I mean, you were looking at aliens and at something close to human.
Yeah, and I think that they were brought in, summoned, or their assistance was gained because of I would be less combative, and they would be able to get some degree of cooperation and get me sedated to the point where they could finish the repairs. And B, they would know more and probably have more equipment and whatnot to deal with the nature of my injuries, which is why it took 5 days.
Okay. Dale asks, again, this is from Wormhole, do you still have nightmares about this event?
I did for a long time, but that gradually faded away. Now, the dreams that came back later were not so much nightmares, but actually featured the human-type people to a much greater extent that with a much different emotional feel to it.
Fascinating. I haven't kept up on all the other guys who were on your crew, or Mike's crew. Obviously, we're going to get a pretty good feel for how you're doing these days, which thankfully is pretty good. How are the other guys doing? You know?
Well, come to find out, Alan Dallas had a heart attack and died here a couple years ago. And last year, I found out that Dwayne Smith had also passed away from a heart attack. And, I had quite a bit of difficulty tracking Dwayne Smith down. I had a friend who was a former police officer who enlisted the help of a friend who was a private detective. Found him. I talked to him on the phone, interviewed him. Unfortunately, I taped the interview because, he agreed that he would come out and speak with me. But, he had some real problems with his teeth and he wanted to get them fixed before he appeared on camera.
Right.
But he passed away thanks to me before this.
Wow. So, then you're gone, is the answer.
Yeah, I had 2 of them are gone, and Mike's had some health problems, some strokes and whatnot, but he's fought back pretty good. He's back to actually, doing tree work. He does residential tree service. John Goet is back in the area locally, and so is Kim. He was back.
documentary, and we're going to talk about that in a moment, and also whatever else you've got going on. So there is new information out there that people can get and we can tell them now. What I really would like to do is, would you mind answering a few phone calls?
Absolutely.
Good. Travis Walton is my guest. If you want to call us, the public number is area code 952-225-5278. Rare opportunity. 952-225-5278. North America, meaning America and Canada, can get us at MITD 51 on Skype, MITD 51. If you're outside North America or Canada, you can call on Skype using MITD 55. That's MITD 55. So if you have a question for him, and I can't imagine you don't, pick up the phone or pick up Skype and join us. Travis Walton, Midnight in the Desert.
Increasing availability of drones is all but certainly to cause an airplane accident, in part because it's difficult to catch people in the act of flying with small unmanned drones. CBS News aviation and safety expert Chelsea Solenberger said Sunday that we've seen what a 6-pound or 8-pound bird can do to bring down an airplane. She said on Face the Nation, a nod to the flock of the birds that knocked out both of the engines and forced them to land at Clay, Hudson River in 2009. Imagine what a device containing hard parts like batteries and motors could do that might weigh 25 or possibly up to 55 pounds to bring down an airplane. It's not a matter of if it will happen, it's a matter of when it will happen. There's been a dramatic increase in the number of unmanned aircraft flying near commercial planes, and in some cases pilots have had to alter their courses to avoid a collision. Solenberger said the devices are becoming ubiquitous because they are relatively cheap and easy to procure, but that it allows people to do stupid, reckless, dangerous things with abandon. He says he's encouraged that aviation and the legal authorities have raised the penalties for doing these things, adding that the essential element that's still missing is the certainty of prosecution because it's been difficult to catch them in the act. Well, the Mars rover has been producing quite a few interesting photographs, to say the least, lately. One appears to be a ghostly woman, and another one may indicate an infestation of crabs on Mars. This recent Mars photograph seems to show a giant alien crab. Well, the mysterious object closely resembles the crustacean anyway. It's unknown exactly who found it, but it's really interesting. It does appear alive. It may be a crab-like animal, or it could also be a plant. This object has many arms, and one of them goes to the left of the picture a very long ways. That arm is longer than all the others. Plant or animal, well, it really doesn't matter. The significance of this may be that it might show signs of life on Mars. Take a look at the photos yourself. Let us know what you see at darkmatternews.com. It's Friday, means open line night on Ardell. Let us know what you think of the stories on Dark Matter News tonight. And remember, you can always submit a tip online at darkmatternews.com.
After last night's show on Bigfoot, we had earthquakes, meteors, asteroids, UFOs, volcanic activity, and something has shaken loose. Bigfoot, Yeti, the Sasquatch, the abominable snowman, whatever you may call it, showed up today in North Carolina. Little Eric and little dog Yippee, they caught it firsthand and on video. The recording is of a Sasquatch mating call, war scream, or greeting from some other dimension. Here it comes. It continues to haunt me. In the terrifying last few moments of our Bill show, final caller came in with a recording that still sends chills down my 5.
I guess, do you want me to end your show with what I would think may be a Bigfoot scream that I heard out there in the woods in southeast Oklahoma?
I wouldn't miss it for the world, man. Go ahead.
And with North Korea rolling their time back 30 minutes, you may not even have heard this yet. And for those of you following politics, Fox News and Facebook will no longer be hosting GOP debates. The WWE has picked up the contract. And after Trump's shrewd remarks during the debate, Rosie O'Donnell fires back with this crazy tweet. It continues to haunt me. This is John G. with Dark Matter News.